Oh, hello. How is everyone doing on Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday? Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Cool. Well, if you're on, go ahead and send me some love. I want to see like hearts and things like that to let me know you're there. It helps me know who I'm talking to and what's going on. So, today we are going to jam on at least what I think we're going to jam on today, and I may change my mind. But I want to talk about how to make decisions because that's what I'm talking about on the podcast this week. And I know that there are a lot of big decisions that are having to be made by my people right now. Oh, hey there. Yeah, keep sending me some love. Hey, Mary, how's it going? I love seeing you too. Okay. So, when we make decisions, okay, like it seems like this big fucking deal, right? So I just want to start out with saying that. We sit there and we go, oh my gosh, I got to decide, I got to make the right decision, right? And we sit there and I think what we tend to worry about is that we need to make the exact perfect right decision. Like, I'm a pretty easygoing person, and well, with some things, right? But in general, if I'm like given like okay, let's take for example a house, okay? When I moved to Southern Oregon, my partner and I at the time had decided to buy a house that was still in the process of being built. And I just want to say, prior to that, I'd lived out of my Volkswagen, like station wagon, for 7 years as a climbing guide, right? And then I had like a little apartment, like sharing a little room in an apartment in San Francisco with like one window. Like I didn't need anything crazy fancy, right? But what happened was because it was still being built, they were like, this is great. You get to be involved in all the decisions. So tell us, like, what kind of lighting do you want? What kind of fixtures do you want over the sink? And I know that there are some of you that love that kind of shit, but that is not me. Like, I was just like, I don't fucking know. But then because I'm being asked about it, I'm like, okay, I guess I have to make the best decision. So then I would go look at all the different fixtures and then I'd perseverate like, oh my gosh, which one is it? Which one is the perfect one? And it fucking sucked. I was like, I wish that they had just done it and I would have been like, great. I don't know if I would have chosen those, but I like it. I'm easy. Like I'll take it. So like there are maximizers and there are satisficers, right? So satisficers are like, and by the way, those aren't my words, they're actually research words. So there's research on maximizers and satisficers. Okay. So, like, the satisficers are just like, okay, they like make a decision and they're cool with it. Right. Which in general is like how I roll. But with certain things, especially if I'm given like a wide range of options, I get into maximizer mode. So then I end up spending all this time like trying to find the best deal. Like, ooh, is this going to save me like $20? And it's like, who the fuck cares, Anna? Like, your time is worth way more than that. Why are you tripping on this? Because I want to maximize the experience. Planning a trip. Okay, I want to maximize my experience. I'm going to make sure that our itinerary is like fucking amazing. I'm going to read all the reviews on all the top places for this particular spot on Airbnb, and I'm going to pick the perfect spot, right? That's maximizer behavior. Satisficer's behavior is like, okay, all right, well, I'll choose that. It's got decent enough reviews and now I'm going to move on. I'm satisfied, right? I don't need to maximize the experience. Hey, y'all. Love seeing people pop in and sending me some love. So, in any event, it's kind of crazy, right? It's like we can get into these mindsets that are super unhelpful overall, right? Like we end up being too focused on perfection instead of getting shit done. But when it comes to decision making, we can get lost in this huge analysis paralysis. We can get so lost in it because we want to make the perfect decision. So that's one of the main issues that can keep us stuck from moving forward, making the perfect decision. One of the things I remember perseverating on was like my niche, right? Because in business, people always talk about, oh, you gotta like pick a specific niche and then, whoops, sorry, I hear some volume there. Okay, so, you wanna say like, I've got this certain niche so that I can narrow my marketing, but what's it going to be? And just making the right decision. And if I don't make the right decision, my marketing's fucked for like the rest of my business life, right? Or maybe it's like, is this the right relationship for me? Hello, people, nothing is forever. You can always change your mind, even when it comes to a relationship, right? So that's one thing I want you to let go of when it comes to making decisions, is this idea that your decision is forever. Yes, there are consequences to your decisions. Some of them can't be taken away. So you do need to think about those things. But really think about it though. Most decisions are not forever. You can get married and decide this isn't right for me, right? Then you can leave the relationship. I'm not saying to like make getting married like a half-assed decision, but I'm just saying that's a big decision and we can still leave it. So if you choose the wrong niche for your business, you're going to be okay. You can always switch it, right? You can always switch deciding like what you're going to do for your graduate school program. You can switch what you're going to do for your career. You can switch what you're going to do for your vacation. So when it comes to making decisions, instead of focusing on, is this perfect? And can I know that this is the right decision? I want you to remember there often is no perfect decision. There is no right answer. We think that so many times, right? We think, okay, there's got to be a right answer here. If I think about this long enough, if I perseverate about this long enough, then I'm going to have the right answer finally. But that's not how it works. It just isn't how it works. So, how do you make a decision, right? I'm going to go into a lot of different tips on the podcast, which is going to come out tomorrow. But today, I wanted you to put in the comments if you're comfortable with it, sharing with me what hard decisions you have going on in your life right now. And then I'm going to give some suggestions for how to address those. Okay. So in the comments, go ahead and post what big decisions you're struggling with right now. Last week, I know that several people were saying, they were having some discomfort in having difficult conversations. So sometimes the decision is, should I have this conversation, right? Whatever it is, play it to me. Go ahead and make the comments, all right? Now, in the meantime, I wanted to tell you one of the main things that I love to do when I'm making a decision, and I'm just going to start off with the best one here because I really want you to hear it. One of the main things is to ask yourself, is this moving me towards who I want to be and the life I want to create in the world? That's super important, right? Asking yourself, is this taking me a step closer to how I want to show up and what I want to create in the world? Because if you don't, if whatever you're choosing isn't in alignment with the life you want to create, it's just going to drain you, okay? It's totally just going to drain you and you're going to feel something is amiss. And that's often when I feel like we get anxiety about making decisions, when we feel like we are in danger when we're trying to make a decision. It's because there's something in us that tells us we are not in alignment with our values and with where we want to go in life, right? So when we say yes to a job and then we get a sinking feeling and it's like, fuck, why did I do that again? I'm falling into the same pattern again, right? Or when you are trying to make a decision about a relationship and they're like, please, please forgive me. I promise not to do it again, even though they've done it over and over again. And you go, okay. And then there's a part of you that's like, hey, wait a minute. That's not moving you towards your highest self. We know that, right? It shows up in these like sensations of disappointment, of anxiety. But the way that we can work with that is to instead say, is this moving me towards the person I want to be and the life I want to create and the world I want to create? Because, so many people talk about life coaches being so like teaching people narcissism, right? Like, hey, focus on you and your dreams. But here's the deal. It's like your life and world, right? We co-create the world that we live in. So when you are focusing on moving towards your dreams, you can also simultaneously hold like, and this is part of the world that I want to create, right? And so not all decisions will be about you. Many decisions will be about helping other people and what is the right thing to do and how to show up, how to speak out when you see injustice, how to call people out. How to call people out while maintaining compassion and loving kindness for them with maybe a little ferocity at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive, right? So as we make decisions on, should I say something, right? Ask yourself, is that going to move me towards my higher self and the world I want to create? All right. The other thing I like to do is pretend I've made the decision already. So it's like, okay, let's say you're debating a relationship, whether to stay or whether to go. Like, make the decision in your mind and imagine your life having made that decision. And imagine your life having not changed anything or choosing the option B, right? What does that look like? And what feels better to you? So when you are trying to make a decision about in your business, like what should I focus on? Do I want to help teens or do I want to help millennials, right? Like what feels better? If you decided it and imagined your life having chosen that, what feels better in your body? So that's a common theme that's coming up, right? How are you feeling? Is your body resonating with the decision? And when we, in our minds, make a decision to see how it feels, our body has a response. This is why visualization works so well, because when we imagine it, it might as well be happening. This is why dreams feel so real, right? It has an actual effect on us. So if you can imagine having made a decision, you can imagine how your body might react to it. Another analogy would be to chew on it, right? I'm chewing, and then I'm going to swallow. Do I just want to vomit it back out? Or does it go down smoothly? Am I like, give me some more of that love, right? So does the decision move you closer to the life you want to live and how you want to show up in the world and the world you want to create? When you make the decision in your mind, what happens in your body? And when you imagine what life would be like once you make that decision, which would you rather choose? Another trick that some people use, I've had colleagues say that they've done this like when they're trying to buy a house and they're trying to decide between two different houses, right? And then they take a coin and they flip it and they say, okay, heads is this house, tails is that house, and then see what happens when it lands. It's like, ooh, did I kind of secretly want the other one? Or am I like, I'm so glad it was that one? Because that's what usually happens. The real desire underneath will show up, right? And I'm giving you a lot of different tools because not all of them will work for you for every scenario or resonate with you. But I do want you to try all of these different ones, okay? So another one that I love to jam on is the feelings. Like, I love me some Danielle Laporte, right? Like, you've probably heard of the core desired feelings. That's been out for over a decade, I think, at this point. I've used it, like, even in the first retreat I led, this concept of, what are your core desired feelings? Meaning, what is the way you want to prioritize feeling for the next year, for example? Not in the moment, but that's where the word core comes in, because it's not just a fleeting thing. It's not just dependent on like your day. It's what is something core that you want to focus on feeling for the next year. So oftentimes for me, that's freedom, right? But then I like to change it up. So then I'll do things like, okay, maybe I want to focus on feeling at peace, or feeling excited, or feeling strong, right? And you can pick one or you can pick three. Now, some people choose like a word for the year, right? They'll have like a word that will help inspire them for the year. This is a little different because when you have a feeling, that translates into a sensation in your body. Okay, so it translates as a sensation in your body, and you can ask yourself, does this decision generate this feeling in me, or does it push it down, right? So if you're trying to write a book and you've set aside the time and the finances to do it, you're focused on it, and then someone says, hey, I've got this job for you and I could pay you this much, but it's going to take all of your time and pull you away from that job, but you're like, or from writing the book, but you really kind of need some money too. Even though your finances are set aside, that money looks pretty sweet. You can ask yourself, is this moving me towards my ultimate goal? Is this moving me towards the world that I want to create? Is this moving me towards how I want to show up in the world? Or also, is this adding to my core desired feeling? Is this adding to the way I feel, the way I want to feel? If I want to feel inspired, does making that decision help me feel inspired? Right? So when we have a compass by which to make these decisions, the way that we want to feel, it makes it a lot easier to kind of make these decisions a little more efficiently, because we can just ask ourselves, is this in alignment? And the reason it's so important to make decisions that help you feel the way you want to feel is because the way you feel drives your actions, which creates your results, right? This is something we teach on a lot. So circumstances happen in the world. Shit's going to happen. Life's going to happen. What are your thoughts about it? Your thoughts create your feelings, right? Like something happens and then I have a reaction to it. Before I knew that that thing happened, I had no thoughts about it and therefore no emotional experience about it. So that thing happening in and of itself did not generate my feeling. Otherwise, I would have felt it just because it happened. But first, I had to know it happened, and then I had to form a thought about it, which then created an emotion. And this is why two people seeing the same thing can have a different experience. Someone sees a snake, someone's like, thoughts, oh my gosh, that is so cool. They feel excited. Someone else sees a snake, what the fuck, get me out of here. They feel afraid, right? What happens? Different experiences of emotions, right? Then they act differently. They create a different result in their life. One is one of they're learning about it, they're exploring it. One is they are running away, right? They're avoiding. So when you are making decisions based on how they will make you feel, not in the moment, but in your core desired feeling, that can really help. Now, I did want to emphasize that where this can bite you in the butt is when you are just focusing on how you want to feel in the moment, because oftentimes then those decisions don't serve us as well, right? So, for example, let's say with wine, right? It's like, okay, I want to feel amazing. I'm going to have that wine and right now. But what if my core desired feeling is feeling energetic? Right? Or what if my core desired feeling is feeling in integrity and I had made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to overdrink, right? Then you choose. In the moment, you may say, oh, but having the wine will make me feel good, right? But if your core desired feeling is integrity and you said that you wouldn't, or feeling energetic and you knew that if you went for the third or fourth drink, you'd feel tired in the morning, even if in the moment it might help you feel better, in the long run, it's not. It's not feeding your core desired feelings. So if you're just making the decision based on that singular moment, you're not going to be creating the life that you want. You're not going to be creating the world that you want. But when you focus on your core values, the core ways you want to feel, then you can make decisions based on that. And guess what? That's going to guide you to creating that life. So I do want you to take some time to decide for the rest of 2020. We're just over halfway. How do you want to feel for 2020? How do you want to feel right now? Right? How do you want to feel in 3 months from now? How do you want to feel in December as you're wrapping the year up? Decide what that is. You can come up with 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. I wouldn't come up with more than that right now, though, because it can get confusing. And use that to guide your decisions coming up. Okay? All right. So we've talked about maximizing and satisficing, right? So trying to not decide that we need to make the perfect right decision, because that does not exist. All right? You should just decide something and then go with it. If you're unclear, so the two kind of indulgent emotions that fuck us up when it comes to indecision, or rather one is a thought like I don't know. So when we have the thought, I don't know, that really stops us and keeps us stuck. It sounds legitimate. I don't know. How can I possibly make a decision, right? But it's not, because you do know. And if there's some information you need, then go get the fucking information and find it out so that you know, so that you can stop saying, I don't know. That is a thought that has stopped so many people from progressing and creating the life that they want. So I want you to stop using that word, I don't know, and go find out what you need to know and make a decision. Now, the other thing is confusion. That's an emotion that totally fucks us up when it comes to making a decision, right? We sit there and we say, okay, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. It sounds totally legitimate. People are like, yeah, I could totally see why that's confusing. But it's not. It does not help us to say that I'm confused. It helps us to say, I want to get clear. And what do I need to know to do that? So that you can go out, get the information you need to get clear and stop fucking around with pretending you don't know or that you're confused, right? If you sit around saying, I don't know, if you sit around saying, I'm so confused, what do you end up doing? Probably just complaining or putting things off because you're like, I'm not going to do that. I don't know what I should focus on, right? Or I'm not going to do that. I don't know what's right. Or I'm so confused. I shut down. I don't even want to think about it, right? So that does not help you make a decision. What will help you make a decision is letting go of I don't know, getting that out of your vocabulary, right? So when next time you have a big decision to make, instead of saying, I don't know, instead of saying, I'm so confused and getting stuck in there, you can get clarity through action. That's something I've always said, right? Since the beginning when I was teaching about clarity and courage, like 10 years ago. When we don't know, you just need to take some fucking action, because then you'll find out. If we're staying stuck and spinning, you are not giving your life momentum. You're not giving your dreams momentum. So if you're like, I don't know, should I take guitar lessons? Like, and you're spinning about it for 6 months, fuck it, just sign up. You'll decide if you like it or not, right? Clarity through action. If you're like, I don't know what I want to do in my life, I don't know what career path I should take. Well, then start shadowing people in those careers to see if you get any clarity about, yeah, I kind of like how their day went. That is so cool. I really want to do that. Or start interviewing people. Like, start taking action to get more clear, because that is what's going to help you, not spinning around wondering what should be getting done. Okay? Okay. So, I hope that helps. I hope that you listen to the podcast tomorrow. And I did want to tell you, I've got a couple of one-on-one slots left for July that'll go into August. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, Freedom School is closed. Those doors closed. The bonus of the monthly one-on-one calls with me are gone, and they are not coming back. But if you want to work with me one-on-one, either for like an immersion session for a few hours a day, or in terms of like, we take a day to focus just on you, or if you want to do more like a regular coaching experience with me in terms of like 3 or 4 sessions a month for a period of 3 months, direct message me and I will have my assistant send you a link and we will chat about it and see if it's right for you, because those spots I'm going to close up too, because Shizzle is about to get busy, y'all. I'm so excited for what's coming up. I've got some challenges for you that are going to be really fun and some mini mastermind classes. So it's going to be a blast. But if you want to snag those one-on-one spots, direct message me. I will be stoked to chat with you and see if we're a good fit. Okay? So have an amazing rest of your week. Get over this hump day. And I'm sending you lots of love. Stay free. Create that life of freedom, adventure, and purpose. Bye.